but you don't pick it up. I'm so sick of it, still I can't stop. I've been calling you about your kiss and games. Your selfish bird telling me to stay. I've run out of patience, but you don't give a damn about the things I do. I'm so sick of the ways so I take a leap of faith, hoping you will still behave, 'cause I will be here waiting.
I don't know what's up with this world, with these men that act like boys, boys that wanna be girls, girls that wanna be boys, and women that act like girls. What's wrong with ya? No, I can't get along with ya. That's why I wrote this song for ya. I hope my prayers make it to the good Lord for ya. 'Cause you know I break the law for ya. Yeah, you know I risk it all for ya. But can't get the thing after everything that I offered ya. Guess I must be offered to ya. That's what them demons say when they be talking to ya. Guess that's why I can't get a ring and you won't answer me no more calling ya.
I've been calling you, but you don't pick it up. I'm so sick of it, still I can't stop. I've been calling you about your kiss and games. Your selfish bird telling me to stay. I've run out of patience, but you don't give a damn about the things I do. I'm so sick of the ways so I take a leap of faith, hoping you will still behave, 'cause I will be here waiting.
I am like something you never had before. When those to this, you'll be back for more. That's for sure. What you laughing for? The last thing I'm finna be is the last resort. I'm so not with the back and forth. I jump straight to conclusions and I'm out the door. Drop these ends, get you a real one. You always stay in touch with who ain't feeling ya. I don't even know why you deal with them, 'cause you ain't getting back what you're giving them. I hate to burst your bubble, it's full of helium, but it ain't healing ya. You never really broke my heart, you just hurt my feelings. And what I learned from this is, if you looking for love, don't search for this. Shh. Don't search for this. Said if you looking for love, don't search for this. Shh. Don't search for this. Shh. I'm done calling you. 'Cause you won't pick it up. 'Cause deep don't give up. I'm so sick, I'm done. I'm done calling you. You just pay kissy face. Selfish bird telling me to find a way.
Peace, y'all. Peace, y'all. Sunshine Monet here, and I just want to talk to y'all about the natal tarot readings that I do. It's about 66 to 99-minute videos that I send to you that you can download at any time to your leisure and watch as many times as you like. In this video, I go over your elemental placements, your masculine and feminine energy placements, where your houses are and what that means. And then in addition to that, I'll go over your 3 natal charts. That is your tropical, which deals with your mind, your sidereal, which deals with your heart, and the nakshatras, which deals with your gut. When we go over those 3 charts, I pull a card for each of the planets. So say we talk about the sun. We're going to talk about what zodiac the sun is in and what house it's in your tropical, your sidereal, and then we go over the nakshatra placement of that the sun is in. And then I pull a tarot card, and then we move on to the next entity. So let me know if you're interested. I'm here to heal. This will be gentrified. This will be Yeshua. Cause this is our land. Yes, we was here first. They came here on a boat. They'll leave here in a hearse. They'll leave here through the dirts. They're going through the earths. We're channeling their ancestors to undo their hurts. Cause once upon a time, we all could read and write. That legalese is lies. Strong men spell cursive ties. Strong men all caps disguise. They've gentrified our lives. We've redefined their sights. We've redefined their kind. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose it. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Yes, this shit is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose it. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Play their game, but by our rules. I'm Queen Annie the Maroon. I am Queen of Dongo. I am Queen of Zinga. I am Yenaga. I'm Carlotta and Fermina. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Cause I am a goddess. I am a priestess. I chant these mantras and they all repeat it. If we make a promise, this land we gon' seize it. Get vengeance for Mother Earth treason. This ain't the gentrifier. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. Repetition of empires. Invading land with gunfire. Slavery not posters for hire. Income not what you desire. Outcome working jobs for hours. Mindset waiting to retire. Never stop working for dollars. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Which ancestor you gon' choose? When you chant, they gonna lose. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Which ancestor we gon' choose? When we chant, they gonna lose. My spirit guides come in with that sin. My ancestors defend. I got that juice to transcend. My spirit guides come in with that sin. My ancestors defend. I got that juice to transcend. Cause I am a Santi, I am a Sata, I am a Hosi, I am a Homie, I am a Tamba. Yes, I am a Tamba. Cause I am a Santi, I am a Sata, I am a Hosi, I am a Homie, I am a Tamba. Yes, I am a Tamba. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is hoodoo music. When we chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor we gon' choose? Hey, choose. Cause when we chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor we gon' choose?
We are here. Danielle, are you here? I can't hear you, beloved.
It says I'm here, but I don't
Okay.
see you.
I see you.
I just see the chat. I just see the little duck up there. I just see a white
You
screen beside me. It's not like how we regularly would come in.
yeah,
Feels kind of
everything.
lonely over here on this side.
Did they update some things in our absence?
It might have. It's probably a bug. Let me see what this extension highlight. No, this extension ain't for that. Let me see what this extension highlight. No,
I see us. We are here.
Let me look at it on my phone. But you know what? When I go on YouTube, it doesn't exactly play like. I can't really pull up the live like that. Because I was looking for it on live to see how I look. But
on YouTube, I can see both of us. We look good. I can hear us too.
Okay. Well, we can just keep rolling then. I'll just be over here on the other side.
Well, I'm still putting up the presentation. Oh, I hope you can see the presentation. Let me know if you can see that.
Can't see nothing.
You can't see that?
I'm supposed to see the background, with that logo. I don't even see that. Maybe I should refresh. I'm going to refresh really quick.
You want to refresh? I could play another song while you refresh.
Okay. That's good. We always enjoy the music. The sensual
all right,
sounds,
y'all. I'm going to play songs for a little bit longer. We're going to get it together. Because you guys see the presentation. Are we in a better place?
I'm in a better place since I pulled up the YouTube channel. And can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep, I can hear you.
The only problem with this is that I'm going to have an echo with YouTube. Let me mute the YouTube. See us on the YouTube, can't see us on the StreamYard. It's all good.
It's cool.
I see you over there chilling.
I'm chilling. I'm trying to breathe out this pain. You know, I've been trying to practice some physical therapy moves from the crib. And so this morning I started off the day I chose violence.
Oh, this morning?
Yeah, this morning I woke up pretty good because yesterday was cold, so you know my body was stiff. I wasn't trying to move too much, but today I woke up pretty good, so I did some physical therapy moves, and now you know my leg is done for the day. It's done with me.
Mine too, sis. I ain't gonna hold you.
I feel you. I can only imagine that ankle. I don't play about my ankle.
I don't play about my leg. I don't play about my tibia. I can't imagine being in that pain. Your pain is worse than mine. I would say that right now. Your pain worse than mine.
You know what I'm learning now? I really can't do the cold. Like before, you know, being, you know, anemic, it's genetic. And, you know, I fractured my knee when I was in college playing basketball and all that fun stuff. And so, you know, I always had this thing with the cold. Always had this thing with the cold. I had 1 year where I went and got blood work done and she gave me a whole bunch of prescriptions. And that was the best year of my life. I was living my best life. I'm like, cold? What cold? I'm always hot. Keep it hot.
Yeah.
But this year, with my leg being in the position that it's in, I do not like the cold. I have the disdain that I have for the cold runs deeper than it did. Like, it hurts. I'm not having a good time. It's, you know how you get shin splits? I literally have shin splits all the fucking time. Like the sensation of shin splits is on my leg 24/7. And that's what the cold does. We're not even talking about the fact that my leg is broken or I did physical. We're just talking about the cold. The cold gives me shin splits. That's it. I'm not okay with that. We cannot do that.
You gotta get a heat pad on that leg, sis.
Yeah. And you know, I have really good blankets. You know, I'm definitely prepared. I have really, really good blankets. The thing is, I can't put a lot of weight on my leg. It feels like a boulder is sitting on my leg. So even a little sheet, even a little sheet feels heavy on my leg. It's like, bitch, get off me. Like, so in a little bit, I'm gonna start wrapping my leg back up because I'm thinking maybe that'll assist me if I wrap my joint back up. We'll see.
Maybe.
But I'm not having a good time.
It's crazy like how you injure yourself. Well, in your case, you wasn't injured, you know, yourself, you know what I'm saying? That was inflicted on you from an asshole.
Someone beat my ass with their vehicle.
God.
They won.
Yeah. Hope we get the bastards though. But you know, when you feel like you can be independent, you know what I'm saying, with your injury and shit, and then you could do a little bit. Somehow your body and your mind tricks you into thinking that you can do a little bit more than what you're supposed to be doing, and you get to doing it, and then the next day you damn sure feel it in the rising.
I know that I am a victim of that. Yes.
Why the fuck did I think I could do that?
Just be one independence. Like, bro, I'm tired of, like, every time I think about using the bathroom, it just like sounds like a whole 45-minute experience.
I don't hold you.
And that's just getting there. That's just getting to the bathroom. I still gotta catch my breath and my energy to come back down the fucking stairs. Like, I hate it here so much. You know, don't take walking for granted, y'all. Moral of the story is your legs are such a fucking gift on this plane. Like, we can't travel anywhere without them. Please don't take them for granted.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. I've taken my legs for granted or whatever.
Me too. I really did.
And I really underestimated them when I stepped off that damn curb and felt my 200+ ass on my damn ankle.
I was telling my mom about that. I was like, the one day she just decides to go to work and do her fucking job, she gets hurt. That's why she ain't gonna be just doing her job. Just go to work and show up. Stop doing stuff. Shit, I clocked in. That's all y'all need. What are you talking about? Like oh my goodness. I don't have any tea today. Sorry, I was drinking root beer, y'all. It's one of those days where I was like, fuck it.
I was supposed to be working. Yeah, yesterday I was like that too. That's why we delayed to, until today. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I hope this is filling up to today. If not, we can do it tomorrow. But we here.
Oh no, I'm definitely here. I'm excited about this episode. All the research that went into this and everything. I'm very, very excited about this episode. Getting into the story of the Moabites and finally started like opening up space. I had to get my search engine in order. I wasn't typing the right things in the search engine, but trying to find like the maps that are in alignment with this stay in time, which is something we'll dive in way deeper in the next episode. But it was just really cool to have a piece of it this episode. I was really trying to do that.
A sneak peek.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm. Now we can do more research based off of that clue that we have.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Just giving you guys a roundup. This is part 3 to our 3-part series of from Aboriginals, from our Aboriginal ancestors. Our first episode was on Inky and Enlil. We went over the Anunnakis that created us and the gods that came before them and before them and before them. We made ourselves all the way back to what Absu and Tiamat, which in the Bible is the time when everything was like darkness and one and hot and shit before like the land came and all that fun stuff, which ends up being, mythologically speaking, the war between Enlil and Tiamat, which in turn turned into land, and then having to, create humans to, mine the gold on the land. And we're literally gold diggers.
Yeah, we're gold diggers, and I was gonna say we're literally descendants from a lot of that trauma between those gods. Then,
yeah,
we are the product of our environments that we were placed in. We didn't ask to be here, but it is what it is.
They made us. And I would say that it's safe to say that there are other Earths out there that have other versions of humans or humanoids or whatever have you, because I'm pretty sure this is not the only planet that has gold. I'm like that. Just like you can go to a star and see like the same minerals on each star. Maybe it might be different in some things. I think that there's definitely other planets that have gold and probably humanoids that were created upon it to dig it. That brought me to like the thought of today. Like, do you think that there's like this faction of people that are very well aware that we are here to dig gold, and that's why they keep slavery alive in certain areas where they are mining diamonds and gold and stuff? Because slavery is still happening. It's still niggas out here digging. Not funny, but y'all know I'm dark. Leave me alone.
Yeah, they got people enslaved in Libya.
Yeah. In other places that they won't name. They just keep telling us Libya because they make sure they let us know Ham is the descendants of the cursed.
Let us know that the black people, I have this in text as well. The dark races. The dark races. That means the Aboriginal Australians, the Aboriginal of Americas, the Aboriginals of China, India. Hell, I don't know. We in Antarctica, but hell, they probably got them down there too somewhere, ducked off, digging for damn gold under all them damn polar ice and shit in the frozen tundra. Probably got them drilling for oil. That's their gold there.
Oil. Because it does power their ships. I mean, who's to say it was like literally gold? They call oil liquid gold.
Yeah, there you go. Right there. Ding, sis. You got it. Made a light bulb go on my head.
Pieces.
Mhm. Yes. So this is what we worship here on this planet, God, gold, oil, and drugs. That's it.
Pretty
That
much.
is that's what
Pretty
caused the
darn
demise of
much.
everything too. So maybe it might not be so much of a religious war. Well, that too, but over resources. There's always have been a resource. So just like how Tiamat and them came over here for resources
Mm-hmm.
because it was lack of gold over there in planet Nibiru, right?
Mm-hmm. They're the Nubians from Nibiru. But yeah, that definitely makes sense. It's a clicking. You keep going in and out. Oh no,
I
you can hear me.
I can
Can you
hear
hear
you
me?
perfectly.
Okay. I heard you for a second, then I didn't.
I know it happened with you too a few moments back. It seemed like I was talking over you, but I
It's
was
a lot of energy that's trying to go towards preventing us from having this episode. This 3-part season has been so powerful,
mm,
especially for those of you that are really caught up into like the movie world. Black Panther came out, which was our Inkium in a Lil episode. That was episode 2. And also our Mermaid episode was definitely heavily. And we didn't even watch these movies, mind you. We didn't watch these movies before we did these episodes, okay?
right,
And then
right.
you have the Black
Black
Woman
Adam,
King. And oh
Black
yeah, Black Adam was a big one.
that the other night. Like I think my babe put that on. I was like, First thing he does when he put on the movie, he's like, man, this shit got so much subliminal in it, it don't make no sense. He looks at it from that perspective every time. I'll be trying to look at it for entertainment the first time, and then the subs next time I view it. It takes me like good 3 times to catch the grasp of everything and put everything together how I want.
Respect. That makes sense. Definitely
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. I look forward to watching them for the second time. But we didn't. And then the other one, Black Woman King, was another one. That's really good for the last episode we did, and this episode that we're doing at this moment
I definitely
would be very good.
I
I
definitely
thoroughly enjoyed it. I've never watched that movie, but I'm very much familiar with the Dahomey tribe and things like that. If you guys listen to Juju music for the Gentrifiers, that song is heavily influenced by the Dahomey tribe, which is what the Black Woman King movie is about. It's about the Dahomey tribe. So
mm.
I was really, me, I pull out my books to make sure, see how accurate. Are we watching this for entertainment or accuracy? Let's find out.
Yeah,
But it was definitely a nice balance of both. I'm not going to hold you. I thoroughly enjoyed everything about it. I had a great time.
I definitely gotta look at it because the previews look like it was hitting. Like, okay, I like
Oh,
the
it
name of
was
the title, The
fantastic.
Woman King, but I realized, yeah, like you told me the other day, that's the closest they can come to the translation of the wording from their language.
Yeah, because it wasn't much separation. Whereas women were not treated that well. I'm not going to sit up here and act like women are on a pedestal, and we can show and prove that in like Bible verses. Once we get into it,
Today.
uh, today, the energy continues. So we're not going to act like the Shemites and the Hamites were treating women like amazing. Maybe the Hamites, if we get it, maybe the Hamites, the women were treating better, but the Shemites, they didn't give a fuck. So it was still like that energy that women can still be married off and selling my daughter dowry, want. But at the same token, like in the kingdom, like in the actual palace where the king and the queen reside, they were equal. It was the equal energy of Maiwu and Liza. We sat next to each other. So it's king and woman king. You know what I'm saying? So that was the kind of vibe to that, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But it still kept you, don't worry, to my men in the back. Men still treated women second class in the film. It was very accurate for you guys that love to keep that going.
I
Yeah, I hate
wonder,
to see you equal.
I
Hate to
got a
see you equal.
question. Were the Egyptians, did they view their women as the same, equal to the men, or were they treated as second-class citizens as well?
I mean, it feels like this was a worldwide thing going on, because when you get into the Bible, all right, we could talk about who was it that walked through Egypt with his wife and was like, yeah, pretend like you my sister.
Oh, that was Abraham, and it was his sister. It was pretend.
Yeah, so Abraham, the way his wife was treated, Sarai was treated when they walked through Egypt. That like they could be sexualized and sensualized. Like if a king wanted you, he could have you, and who are you to tell him no? Even if you told him no, he would kill your husband. That's the same thing. Like decades later, a descendant of Abraham, King David, and that's how he got but what's her name, Bathsheba, to have Solomon. He saw her, washing her ass in the woods or whatever, and was like, "Oh, let's kill her husband because I want her." I mean, at least they had enough sense to kill the husband. Like, I ain't just gonna I'm gonna kill that nigga first, Like, they had morals.
Yeah, at least get that nigga first before I just grab her.
Right, that way it's justified in the eyes of the Lord. Look, her husband's dead.
Yay! It's not fornication. You murdered that nigga, but I'm gonna forgive you.
I guess because even though, I mean, it's weird because I guess that would make her stoned. If she cheated on her husband, she would surely be stoned to death.
Yeah.
And that was something we got into on the first or second episode, where it was like the woman cannot divorce the husband. She has to prove that he was cheating, and even then, it's still some stipulation
in the Bible under the commandments somewhere.
It's weird.
Like women always get proof of infidelity.
They were treated as property.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely treated as property. Well, and there's a rise and fall on women on the come up, but we on the rise now. So
that woman is coming back on the plate for sure.
In addition to us getting into Inky and Lil, we even went as far as talking about the sun cycle and the moon cycle, a complete cycle, as you guys can see in this image. Oh, I keep forgetting I can make this bigger on my screen. I don't gotta look at this little baby screen. Hold up. So yeah, a full cycle is 24,000 years. The last full cycle we had was in 1970. We're exiting. Well, we're actually 22 years into the sun cycle. So you'll start to see, energy changing as you do. People starting to get more knowledge as far as our sun people go. Starting to get more knowledge of self and doing away with the moon holidays and the moon calendar and starting to see the moon people for who they are. And we talked about our inference on the moon people being white people. And now because we are in light of the episode that we're doing, we could stop saying white, because and we'll get into why in a moment, because I definitely got into the history of the word nigger. And we're gonna get into the history of the word white too.
Mm-hmm.
But just start calling them Yafet. They're the descendants of Yafet. Yafet initially was a copper skinned man. However, as time went on, here we're still in the lineage of the gods. As time went on, he became, his lineage became lighter. This is Unafishtim. We established that was Noah. Unafishtim. He is the new Adam of our time, because as you guys know, between the time of Adam and Eve to the time of Utnapishtim, we had a great flood. No, I don't believe the whole wide world was flooded and drowned out, but it was big enough for civilization as they needed to be drowned out.
Because
it wasn't.
There's a point I wanted to make about the Hittites. When we talking about David. Yeah. Remember the giant he slayed?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, Goliath. He was supposed to be one of the giants, and if they did, he's a Hittite, right? Okay.
Yes. And the Hittites were the giant people. So that shows that everything got destroyed in the flood. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was locally.
We still got some descendants now. So you got Ham over here. Ham is the father of the Cushites. Okay. We have Shem over here. Shem is he's a little lighter than Ham, but not super light. And then you got Shaphat. So everybody started off, brown skin tone. And are you familiar with like the way they used to do like phenotypes, like the little charts, the little Punnett squares, when you have a genotype like A, lowercase a, capital B. Okay, so the mindset is this.
It showed like which gene was dominant like that.
Yeah. They're trying to say Adam and Eve had one dominant and one recessive gene. They both did. And that's why they were able to give life to so many races. However, at the same time, when you do the math of that kind of Punnett square, that out of the 20-something people that they would give life to, only one of them will be blonde hair, blue-eyed, and white. And that's why you have like tribes of like in Australia where they have blonde hair and blue eyes, but they still copy brown skin.
My question is this: how can you say what traits that they had over the other, or nobody else was around, or no one else was in their time?
I don't know, because these people's egos are fucking huge.
You know what I'm saying?
They always think they're the only one.
Yeah. Because that's why they first children came. Well, okay, so it was Cain and Abel, right? But Cain and Abel were twins.
It's Cain, Abel, and Seth.
It was Cain, Abel, but Abel had a twin sister, and Cain had a twin sister. That's the part I ain't talking about.
That would make sense if everybody was born in twos. I wrote that in a book. If anybody checks it out on my website, I put the preface in there, but that was a collection of like downloads. And now I'm trying to write a science fiction book off of it. But I do get into that about how like every birth was man and woman at the same time. Like everybody had a twin. That just makes sense to me. At least in the beginning, that just makes sense to me. But now that's an anomaly because remember when the rainbow came and the promise and all that, they talked about us not being able to reproduce as much as we were. So that could have been the time where they lowered our double births to single births. No more multiples. That just makes sense to me. I'm echoing.
No, I was saying Am I delayed?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm on time. Okay.
Someone commented that I was echoing.
Somebody say you up. It's probably me. Because I hear echo.
Yeah. That should be making me so hot. It's like you guys don't even know me. Why would you call me in the middle of my podcast?
Hi, the lady. Not you. It's me.
That's how you know you just don't know what I got going on. You're like,
I'm gonna go change out my headset.
Change out your headset? Okay. It might be because you said you're on the laptop looking at us too, right? I don't know. Technology try to get it away. They will not win.
Headset.
All right, cool. Cool. Now I hear the echoing. Hold on, let me see if I can mute her in her absence while that's happening.
Okay, I'm back. Well, my computer picks up pretty well. Oh, it's still echoing in the computer. You close out the user.
I didn't start
Is that
hearing
better?
the echo until you unplugged your headphones. That's when I started hearing it. I didn't hear it this whole time. Now it
What?
sounds fine to me.
Hmm.
I don't know. Do it sound good to y'all? Cause
I'm still hearing echo as we speak. I gotta turn on the computer.
I'm comfortable.
Okay, my producer said I had to turn down the computer. I muted it. So how's it now? I can hear any sound out of here.
That sounds cool. Y'all let us know in the comments how it sounds as we try to get our lives together.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh man.
You can't hear me?
My ear. No. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did close out the YouTube. It's on my end. It's not you. It's not you. It's me.
I don't even hear nothing. That's the crazy part.
I can definitely hear it. But I'm gonna try to work through it though.
All right. Let me see. Is it your producer over there in the back? Can he tell? Does he hear an echo?
Production, do you hear echo? I guess he went backstage.
All right, cool. And wait, where's my cake? I just be being childish on the couch. My bad, y'all. All right. So
cake,
we got
you want cake too?
right. I like cake. We got into Japheth. They didn't have the letter J back then, so I was trying to look up what his actual name was. I got Yefet, which is Yefat, was the Hebrew name for him. And then I was trying to go back and find out like what language was they even speaking back then, because I highly doubt that they were speaking Hebrew. I couldn't get a real answer, and that makes sense that I couldn't, so I wasn't mad. I gotta dig a little further for that. If anybody has any answers, we're open to information.
I forgot the language that they said they were speaking.
The one thing I got was Adamites, but I was like, I feel like y'all making that up. Adamite, like Adam, like Adam and Eve.
Oh, Adamite, yeah, there you go. Okay, so yeah. Who taught Adam and Eve how to speak the language?
The serpent.
Had to.
Taught him everything they know.
Talking good too.
Right? You will not surely die. You be alright.
Yeah.
We also got into see, we was going from the mindset, the mind space that white people and black people are separate, which we now know, jokes on us, they're not. It's literally, and we'll get into that when we move into like the names of people. The concept of race was not created until 1775, a year before America was established. And we'll get into that in a moment. But moving, I don't even know what they call Javon, because Javon is supposed to be the son of Yefet. And Javon is the father of Kittim, which is the Java man, and he's the originator of the Greeks and Romans.
Right. But my thing is this. How we got three different races with three children from the same parent. But that's why I want to get to the genealogies of the mother.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like,
that's a key important part in your genetic makeup as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you only got one wife. No one had one wife, though, right? That's all what they're missing. Even So what? Where did she come from? What race was she or whatever? I believe we was looking at that on the last episode.
Yeah, we were,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
that's a
didn't.
safari.
We got it. We got her name back here.
Yeah, Nama.
Yeah, Nama. Yeah, it was just
Well,
coming back to like what tribe was she from? Uh, did it have it up here?
well, his
Well,
wife's
his
name
wife's
was
name was
Nama in
Nama in
Tim's
Tim's
story.
story.
Yeah, they don't really name her in the Bible.
No, we just hear
We just
about
hear
her
about her
nakedness.
nakedness.
Yeah,
Like your
but
Highness.
you know, I think that also was going back to what I was saying about the Punnett square, how maybe they both had a dominant and recessive gene, and that's why they were able to at least produce one. Now, if they had Java, and Java is not as dark as Yafet. I mean, you know, I know we're utilizing these photos and these photos are fairly recent, but like thinking about it with our mindset, if they both had you know, a dominant and recessive gene, then their son would have been a little bit lighter. And if his woman was of a lighter tone, what is this, Iris from
Well, you know where she's from.
Where's she from that?
I think she was on
Shishka?
Greek.
Yeah. So him and Iris coming together, they definitely would have had a child that looks like this man up here, Kittim.
I think that's a jacket. A jacket that. Mean him not the baby father.
Somebody's lying.
Somebody lying. Somebody was already punished on the ship or on the ark for you know getting their groove on.
But Javon is supposed to be the father of the Greeks, and that's why we have like historically Greeks are a different, you know, skin colors. They're not just like quote unquote white people. Peace.
Okay. So when they say that Greeks are like olive toned, right? What are
I had this conversation with my mom earlier because I was eating olives. I was like, "So what color was the olives?"
Yeah.
She said black. We're talking about black
olives. You have purple olives. You have green olives.
I remember when I was in school. No, but I remember when I was in school, they were trying to make olive seem like it was the color of a darker toned white person, like that Italian color, like the person that they consider dark in Italy. But no, I literally asked my mom that question earlier today. So what color is an olive? And she said it's black. So we are talking about, you know, just different shades of brown were the Greeks, because Javon, this guy down here with the little, he kind of looks like Bruce Leroy. This Bruce Leroy looking dude down here is most definitely a lighter brown tone, and he's supposed to be the father of the Greeks. And then his son Kittim is supposed to be in Cyprus, like a little Mediterranean area. Sounds like a type. Yeah. He could definitely been one of them big dudes. Because at this point, it's a little salad of genomes going on.
You know, everything out of the ordinary was going on back then.
Japheth also gave life to other sons. He actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He has 7 sons, and they were the creators of the Samaritans, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, Turkey, Jews, Goth, Germany, Visigoths, Medes, Persia, the Persians, the Iberians, the Bulgarians. So that's who his father, let's go back, Japheth, this guy right here, that's who he gave birth to, those nations. So there was a lot of mixing as far as skin colors. Like we really got to break our brains with the whole skin color thing, because you know his descendants were of mixed tones. It wasn't just one skin color. There was no concept of race.
Get so much into the colorism thing because I'm trying to work this echo.
It's a very deep spell. Colorism.
It's a deep spell. It's also repeatedly over and over again that Africa is a motherland. Africa is the dark continent, and a lot of first people were black.
Yes.
Ancient civilizations were black. So we're
Not
trying to
denying
figure
that.
out where
See,
these white
the
folk
fish
coming
them.
from.
All three of his sons, the genome and phenome of being dominant and recessive. Then you also have, like we spoke about, the aliens of Orion's belt. They came from the star
Oh
Nirvana,
yeah.
and they were creating I forget, theirs began with the H word, hero something,
Dog
and
too.
then you have
My
the Flugerods of the Palladians. What you call them? Heroism.
My sound quality is so
Effed up.
That sucks because I can really hear you. Like if you don't let it bother you and you just talk, you're good.
I'm trying not to let it bother me.
I'm trying not to let it bother me.
Thank you. I trade you. You can take that one. This one? Yep. I could do one for you. Yeah.
Hey, Prime.
Hey, Prime.
Hey, Roxy.
Hey, Roxy.
I heard you say, Kit Kat. You know her mother-in-law packed up everything. I ain't gonna talk about it.
That's funny.
You know who she is. That's why when you said it, I said to myself, I said out loud, I was like, this is good.
I try.
I should have recorded it.
There was a dog I
There
seen
was a
on
dog I
Facebook
seen on
earlier that
Facebook
resembled
earlier
the
that
Shaggy's from
resembled the
Orion.
Shaggy's from
I
Orion.
was looking at him
I
like
was
his
looking at him like
eyes
his
and
eyes
his like
and
facial
his like
features
facial
looks
features
like just
looks
one of
like
those
just one of
creatures.
those creatures.
I be
So
thinking
I'm
of
kind of
the
like, yeah, some of
lion
these dogs
in
is
the
able to be
original.
humanized. So I think they were breeding some of these dogs with, well, some of these creatures.
Some of these creatures.
You remember the yeah. Well, yeah and no. Okay, so that whole story was from this guy right here, Cannon, who actually was an albino, and being albino and having, white skin, two different things.
Yeah.
That's a whole different gene. But this guy was he was the son of
There you
Ham,
go. He got the
and he was
oatmeal.
albino and of him, and he went to the mountains because the thing with albinos is they really can't be in the sun. Like it really does something to them. So I guess they were like burning in the sun. The thing with the dogs is there's something in dog saliva that heals wounds. So they were going to the dogs in the mountains to lick those wounds for them to heal those things. And then I guess after a while they start to
Raised by wolves.
Shit.
yeah, and they
Loving on
started to
them because
fall in
some
love with
of
the
them
dogs.
protect some of them
It
damn
got
dogs.
weird. Yeah, it started to get weird. Like my man's, he went to the mountains with these were his 4 wives that he went with. Again, mind you, Ham is a brown skinned man. So, Ham is the father of Cushite. So him and his wife had a, daughter. So again, this is where more mixing of skin tones. You got to break your brain from the skin tones, and we're gonna get there. We're gonna get to the skin and the colorism and races, but we're not there yet. So we can't think like that.
Hard,
But
sis.
he did have other women, and these were the Horite, I believe. No, it was the Anakite was the big bitch, right?
Which one was the
It was the Anakite. That was the one that was the Orion. She was the giant.
Which figure is it, sis? Is it the one at the
Oh,
top
54.
right?
She got a big ass neck. Her neck looks strong as hell.
Yeah, that's Bruce.
That's Bruce.
was it Kathy Jenner? Caitlyn Jenner. That's Caitlyn Jenner.
And you know
there.
what's crazy? They're literally Armenians. So they literally came from the mountain that my man's went to with his 4 wives. So, I find that very funny because they are very prominent figures in Hollywood. So on top of them being straight descendants from the mountain dwellers, and they claim it in our faces on television. I'm Armenian. Okay, Flugerod, congratulations. They actually spend a lot of money to look like the Aboriginal woman. And I find that so funny that they spend so much money to look like the Aboriginal woman. And they're Armenian. And then they also made sure that they mixed their genomes with black men to have, mixed children. So much
Yeah.
science behind that. And it's like, I wonder if you guys know who or what you really are, and if you guys are really doing that intentionally. That's crazy.
You know they
You
are.
know they are.
Because you hear them
My
be
mind
talking
says
about
they
they
know.
feel like a black woman, they want to have a black baby. Oh, and then
They
when the white
literally
girls
all
have a
have
black
black
baby or
children.
mixed baby, they be like, see, I can create black babies too. I have a mitochondrial gene as well. Mitochondrial. Yeah, that's what they want to do.
I think that whole situation of watching that one sister date a black man and then she was getting pregnant around the same time, what he was dating Black China at the same time. If that whole Black China situation was just so interesting because it was just like to watch this woman compete so hard with an Aboriginal woman. And granted, the worst kind of Aboriginal, like that's not even our best. We got way better ones than those. we gave you the weakest one with the most insecurities. You still couldn't get it right, huh? It's cool. That was just my observation, but I find that interesting that Armenian family is the prominent figure of Hollywood. Just find that very interesting. And I'll get into why in a little bit. But these are supposed to be all the kids of Canaan. When he went to the mountains with his 4 wives and see more different kind of skin tones we came out with. So again, colorism is still not a thing yet. We're not here with that. And we had a whole roast session of all his sons.
I'm trying to get out my mind that colorism is not there yet, Danielle.
It's not there yet.
Okay.
We're not colored yet. So that was the way Ham's lineage went, or not Ham, Japheth's lineage went. He gave birth to all the Europeans. Still, the black man is the original man. The black woman is the original woman. When we get to Noah and his wife. All right. So yes, they are our sons, our babies, whatever. Then when you get into the lineage of Shem, which is another son of Noah. Yeah, I'm a Virgo too. Which is Shem can be, oh, peace. Shem goes hand in hand with Terah. Abraham had Nahor and Haran. You hear stories of Abraham and Lot a lot. Lot is actually Abraham's nephew. And Lot gave birth to, well, he didn't give birth. He got his daughters pregnant. And they had Moab and Ammon.
Nah. His daughters got him pregnant.
His daughters got yeah, he was raped by his daughters, and that was weird. And that was another example of how like women were treated as inferior, because prior to Lot even doing all of that, they were living in Sodom and Gomorrah. And everybody knows Sodom and Gomorrah is a dusty place, and that's where all the Aboriginals were acting like city girls. And so God said, oh, we finna turn up and we about to kill everybody here. So he went to Lot. They sent 2 angels to go to Lot and his wife, and his daughters was in the crib. Now these dudes was outside, and they was like, yeah, we trying to get your guests. Bring your guests outside so we can have sex with them. At least this was the interpretation I received, which is very weird.
That's exactly what it was.
That's how they were doing.
It's what it was. So, yeah, my knowledge of that and with the information you're giving is a lie.
It's an alignment? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me tell you what the fuck Lot said. This some dusty shit. So Lot was like, yeah, you can't have my guests, these 2 niggas that I don't know, but you can have my beautiful virgin daughters. What kind of shit is that?
That's that shit them parents did with R. Kelly to their daughters. Sent them off to the damn mansion to get a big old freak nick.
Nothing new under the sun, eh? Yeah, so fuck him. Cause that wasn't cool. And that's why they raped you. And that's what I got. What? That's what we doing. So these women, with their low self-esteem and their dusty ass dad, they went to the mountains and they had Moab and Ammon. Now, yes, the Moabites and the Ammonites were created out of incest, and for that reason, they had to stay amongst each other for 10 generations. So 10 generations passed before the Moabs and the Ammonites started reintegrating with the rest of civilization. And that 10th generation just so happened to be Ruth. Ruth was the 10th generation. All right. So in their absence, a bunch of shit was happening. Abraham had a bunch of kids. Ishmael had all his kids. Let me get to my notes.
Yep.
They had a good old time. You know, you had the 12 tribes of Israel. You know, they split up, got back together, split up again. It was like Destiny's Child out there. Like, you know, in the end, they ended up coming back together, and then they got taken over. And Vogue never got back together. Do they even have like, you know, random concerts together? And Vogue was a shit.
I don't even know, sis. I think it's just too much, like
too much cocaine, definitely. I feel like if SWV can do it, so can En Vogue. That's where my mind's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause they still can sing though. SWV.
Oh yes, they can still blow. Very nice. But yeah, this, you know, Abraham had a really dope lineage. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I'm gonna let the rest of y'all lineages finish, but the lineage of Shem was the greatest of all time. You feel me? Like Abraham, King David, Solomon, the tribes of Israel, Judah.
They were dusty though. They were dusty too now. He was dusty for a lot of shit that he did. David fucked up thousands of times, Joe, and God forgave him every single time.
Because he knew how to repent. Like, if you know how to say sorry, you know, is it too late now to say sorry? Anything is possible.
Okay.
But like, yeah, I think that was the big thing, because he did apologize a lot, was a big thing, but he did do a lot of bullshit. He did. They did have a lot of drama going on. At least the lineage of David.
It was a whole strategy. He strategized. He calculated that to the fullest. He probably told one of his men, just kill that battle.
Both sides of his family lead to Jesus. Like, if you don't believe in the virgin birth and you believe that Joseph was actually the dad and he just didn't want, you know, what's the face to be stoned or whatever the fuck. Because you got to remember that time, if a woman saw a man, they call it saw a man, but really was the act of sex. If you saw a man, if she did that without being betrothed, she would be killed. So
yeah, that's why they had to leave.
Joseph being in the picture. Oh, that's why they had to leave. Yeah, so Joseph being in the picture was probably more protection against either he being the actual father or someone else being the father. It was just, it seems like it's all was in prevention of her being killed because of it. That's what I felt. Now, if you believe that Joseph was the actual dad,
also.
Oh, go ahead, sis.
No, go ahead, because you probably completed my thought.
Okay. Maybe. Okay, so Jesus lineage, David's lineage, all led back to the Moabites. But they want to keep them separate. They want to hide that.
I know why. Okay, so when you get into all of that, we know why now, because we did the homeworks. So they separate the Moabites from the rest of history. Get that there was 10 years of separation before Ruth married Boaz, and then they had 2 generations. They had a son who had a son, and then they had David. To claim that would be to be giving the Moabites and the Ammonites stake to the house of David. And we know David gave birth to Solomon, that gave birth to, eventually we go down to Joseph, that goes to Jesus. And then we can even go even further than that, down to Hezekiah and all them fun people down there.
Yeah.
But when we get into the map,
no power to
And this is the lineage.
because they were not favored by God, according to them.
The Moabites, right? But it was only for 10 generations. After the 10th generation, they were allowed to inherit the kingdom, in which they did. They gave birth to King David. And that just gives proof that, like, you know, the quote unquote Lord's word, whatever shall, you know, be spoken, shall happen.
But then David killed like 2/3 of them, though. Which was fucked up.
David killed them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy. There was also someone else. So there was a whole story about how the son died. Oh yeah, it's a lineage even further down from David, but we're not even. It's not in the tribe of Judah. It's in the tribe of Ephraim. So we do a lot with the good and evil. So like even in the 12 tribes of Israel, you still had the 2 tribes, which was Benjamin and Judah, which kind of were off to themselves, and they were supposed to be the tribe of good. So that was kind of like the Seth. You know, you have Cain and Abel. Then you have Seth and Abel. So they were kind of like the Seth tribe. And then you have the tribe of Ephraim, which is the 10 tribes. And they kind of, that's where you get the term Jezebel. Jezebel was the queen to Ahab, which was the most wicked king that they had in that tribe. But yeah, their descendants had descendants, and they thought, and the daughter thought that the son had passed. So during this time is when the 2 tribes came together. All right. So you got the one daughter from the 10 tribes of Ephraim, which is supposed to be and then you have the son that's supposed to be the tribe from Judah, which is A. So they come together, they get married. And Thalia, whatever her name is, she thinks that her son passed away. Her husband passed away, now her son passed away. So in her mind, it's like, ooh, I could possibly get the 2 tribes, Judah and tribe Benjamin, back to the 10 tribes of Ephraim. So she tries to kill everybody. That's why I was like, oh, they did it again. Because decades later, like, she tries to kill all the people that could be in the seat as far as House of David. Anybody that could possibly be a descendant of David, she tries to kill off to bring that tribe back into the tribe of Ephraim so they can keep doing their weird shit. It doesn't work. There was a son that was hidden for the first 7 years of his life, and then brought to the forefront, and that put the tribe of Judah back into the hands of the House of David. So yeah. So we did that twice, huh? Why was he killing people?
Why was David killing them?
Yeah.
Because he didn't want it to be known that he was a Moabite by blood.
You know, his wife was an Ammonite. King Solomon also had Moabite and Ammonite wives as well.
Yeah.
And, so he was just killing people that were speaking up against him.
Yeah, and let them know what his lineage was. Which he very much knew. He wanted to keep that on the hush, though.
I see. It's eventually they were eventually they see absolutely. By 586 BC, all 12 tribes were taken over by the Assyrians, which we said the Assyrians are descendants of Japheth, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And those lands were invaded by them several times.
Yeah, the Syrians kept taking over this land over and over again. So you keep in mind when you take over the land, you take over the women. So still more muddying up of cultures. Again, races are not a thing yet. We're still tribal.
That's the first thing after you have won a war is to inbreed or breed out. You know, that nation.
Yep. So we still have
Kill off the man
Kill
and
off
leave
the
the
man and
women.
leave the women.
Kill the man and take
Kill
the
the man
booty.
and take the booty.
basically. So I really like this map. I like
Mhm.
this map. It's not my favorite. I believe that there's probably way better maps that could be drawn out, but I really like this map. When you get into like the wave of lands, and our next episode is going to be called Labeling of the Lands, where we actually do start to align the maps with historical events. But just for the sake of this
So,
conversation,
So,
according to this
according
map,
to this
I'm
map,
looking where
right,
it says the
looking where
white
it says
areas
the
are
white
covered
areas
by
are covered
water.
by water.
right,
So
The
Arctic up
Arctic
there,
up
and the
there,
North
and the North
Asia,
Asia,
South America was
South
still
America was still
underwater,
underwater,
Antarctica was still
Antarctica was still
underwater,
underwater,
Australia was still
Australia was still
underwater,
underwater,
India, that
India,
might be in
that might be
Japan
Japan
or
or
Madagascar, who knows?
Madagascar. Who knows?
so it's basically putting that land, all the stuff that we said happened as the descendants of Shemites, from the lineage of Abraham to David to Solomon, the Moabs, the Ammonites, all of that happened in North America if you utilize this map. It seems pretty valid to me.
It makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me.
Makes absolute sense to me.
Because
Especially now.
Because the
Go ahead.
I'm working with the echo
I'm
again
working with the
because
echo
you
again.
started talking.
Yeah,
I
we
was like,
both
"Please
delayed,
stop."
so we just cutting into each other. Go ahead.
It's like a fight.
It's like a fight.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Moabites
the Moabites
and the
and the
Moors
Moors
here in America
here in
say they are
America
connected to
say
the
they are connected
Moabite
to the Moabite
over there.
over there.
So in that sense, that makes
So in that sense, that makes
it adds up to me
it adds up
according to this map.
according to this map.
Yeah, and then when you think about the physical looking at people, North Americans, the
Mhm.
way they claim the indigenous Native Americans, they do look like people. If you look across the map, they do look like the beings of quote unquote Middle East. Same variations of copper tone, you know, physical features, and then also looking at the land mass. So what does the landscape look like? You have green pastures in the middle, and the further out left or right you go, you start to walk in the desert. So I don't know. That just makes sense to me that Shem would be part of North America and the Middle East at the same time if you think about what the maps were looking like. The mountain regions in the same, you know, area.
Just imagine,
Just
like the
imagine,
Sahara
the
spreads
Sahara
across the
spreads
whole
across
top
the
of
whole
Africa,
top of
right?
Africa, right?
Just imagine
Just
all this
imagine
being
all
desert
this
right here
being
that you have to
desert
walk
right
through
here.
just
You
to
have to
get to the
walk
other
just to
side
get to
of
the
this
other
tip
side
of
of this
North
tip of
America.
North America.
For real. Well, for real.
Then the rest of that is just
Then the
nothing
rest of
but
it is just
sand.
nothing but sand.
They had aminos for that. Definitely had animals to help them do that. But I really like this map. It makes, like, you know, a lot of what, you know, Moabites, the Moors of today be talking about makes sense as far as, you know, we're on America, we are in, you know, Morocco is over here and things like that. If we put
And they were
certain
in
maps
And they
into
Europe
were
as
in Europe
well.
consideration.
as
So
well.
yeah,
So
that
yeah,
makes
Yeah,
sense.
we were
Because
everywhere.
Europe is
because
just
Europe
right
is just
there
right
where
there
the arrow
where the
is.
arrow
And, yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you know
And then
what?
when you
That
think
makes sense
about
too
when they
because they
take
call
over the
that
Spain.
that
North
north of
New England.
New England.
They call all that area
Right.
of
All
New
the
England
area
up
of
there
New
with
England up
Maine,
there with Maine,
Vermont,
Vermont,
Connecticut,
Connecticut,
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
And that's also why I don't
But either way,
believe that the
here I am.
lands are as far apart from each other as we make it seem. It's probably hella far apart to us and our eyeballs because we little humans, we little ants on this bitch. But trying to make them seem like they're so far out from each other that, like, when we were in this space of, you know, Yafet, Shem, and Ham, that the lands weren't together. And I think that's where a lot
Right.
of the confusion comes in. You figure Japheth has been trying to take over the world for a minute now. You think about the history
Just
of the
think about it,
Greeks,
like
the Romans,
travelers and
the Turkeys, the all what was it Greeks, Romans, the Turkish, the Spaniards, um the Visigoths, the Nordics. They've always been on a conquest. Like, that's not to say everybody hasn't been on a conquest to take over the world, but they definitely have been on a conquest of taking over the world. Also, y'all know, I think that the map is also upside down. Cold is up, hot is down. That just makes more sense too. So if I could combine these two maps together,
what you said, sis?
What you said, sis?
if I could if I could flip this upside down, I should have done that. I should have just flipped it upside down and made like the icy parts, like Antarctica, Australia, and all that, made that north.
At the top.
At the top.
Yeah, that all be at the top, and then the south tip of Africa or Ham be the north.
Okay, well, let's try to use our imagination. Just combine all these continents back together. Bind them back together. And then we got a visual.
Because it's like the further south you go, the colder it will get, because the further you are away from the Earth's hot point, or at least where the sun is at 24/7. I don't know. If y'all got any input in the comments, let me know. But this upside down map is hitting for me. It makes sense.
Very interesting to look at. Because then that means we're in Africa.
But you gotta break your brain. Ain't no Africa. It's no Africa. They made up all these labels. All right, so kick it. All right, we could bring ourselves to the present now. We done got into the lineages of the three sons. We know what the three sons created. Ham created the Cushites. Did we do that? The Cushites? I think I skipped that one. My bad, y'all.
Sis, we talking about there ain't no Africa. We gonna be attacked by the Africans.
I mean, say it was no Africa. You had the Hamites, you know. And they had Kush.
Oh God.
Oh, here we go. So you had the Hamites, you know, they had Kush. They had, you know, Kush is the Ethiopian empire over here. They had the Nubia, you know, empire. They had their empires and things down here in Africa, and it is safe to say that their skin color remained the same for the most part, but they do have albinos. They do have people of lighter hues and darker hues of brown. Yes, we are still not in the space of race yet. We don't get there yet. We don't get into race until we get into the actual slave trade. We're here now. So we get the science behind where we descended from.
We just dropped out of the sky.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we're here. You know, we have the three tribes. We've been trying to conquer each other for the longest. We go back and forth. We fight. You know, we have different lineages come together, have babies together. Womp, 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 womp. So now it gets to a space where now, you know, initially we had the slave trade with the Arabs. You know, do you have information on like the cursed tribe? Because I was coming across the Hamites being the cursed tribe. Ham is the servant or something like that. When they were trying to like,
the Canaanites.
What are they trying to like castrate Noah or something?
Oh yeah, with him. Okay, yeah. So all right. So Ham walks in. Sees his daddy and his mother getting it on. Go back and tell his two brothers. Two brothers come in. They cover their father up. Dad wakes up in a frenzy and then blame Ham for shit. Because I guess he knows his son. He knows his son. You know, trying to people some shit. I don't know. Curse him. But he cursed Ham's sons. The curse starts with Ham's
starts with
son.
Ham's son.
Who was what was his son name again?
That was Kenan, right? Kenan. That was the first albino.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they used to try to flip it and say that the Canaanites were black people.
Well, Ham is supposed to be the father of Cush, which is Nubia.
Okay.
That's Africa. That
according to this paper right here. This paper that I have right here. It's backwards again, but him right. Ham says dark races come from him. Is the Jews and
you gotta repeat all of that. You gotta repeat all of that. I don't know what the hell you just said.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so here we have here. You see where Ham race, right? Father of dark races. Japheth is the white races. Oh, I guess it made sense to when they said they were the first race from the Canaanites, being that Cain then is a descendant from Ham, well, his son. And then they just linked that all to everybody who's of dark race.
Wait, they trying to say Canaan is the father of the dark race?
Ham is right here.
Yeah, Ham is the father.
And then that's the curse prayer. And so it makes sense, yeah, when you were saying Ham, got cursed or whatever. And then his son got cursed and all that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Saying,
but
Canaanite nation was.
Canaan wasn't the only son of Ham. Ham had
he had others.
He had 7 kids. But that makes sense. Okay. See, there's a lot of like mix mashing up with the names and stuff because that's the game, to mix up who we are so we don't know which lineage we come from. Now you got the Hamites that are in Africa. We already know there is a disconnect there between the Aboriginal American and the Aboriginal African. The land masses as we know it. I don't really like to say American Africa. Y'all know how I feel about that. But in my space, in my mind, Ham is the father of that area of Africa as we know it today. And Canaan was actually the first albino. So he is the one with the cursed skin color, and he's the one that goes to the mountains of Canaan. And then that's what starts that whole all those lineage. Remember all those kids that we saw, him and his 4 wives and the Flugeras, they all go into the mountains and they have all their weird babies. And so
the Ham and them go into the cave according to this?
No, Ham stayed in Africa. That's only one tribe. That's just one tribe of Ham. Does that make sense? He had multiple kids.
Yeah.
That was just one of them.
Right.
He still had Nimrod.
I'm trying to find the list. There you go. Nimrod.
Yeah, Sumer and Akkad. All those spaces. So we get the 3 lineages. In my space, Ham is Africa, Shem is the Americas and some of the Middle East, and Japheth or Yafet is what we know today as Asia, Europe. Over time we done conquered each other's lands and stuff like that. So we kind of muddied up the lines or whatever. But it's still essentially the same. We still kind of keep to ourselves innately. Now, the concept of race was created in 1775 by Johann F. Blumenbach. So this entire time, all the way up to 1775, we had no concept of race. Yes, you could look at someone and say they were fair-skinned, dark-skinned. People had their, physical preferences, but to actually divide people up by the color of their skin did not occur until 1775. I'm sorry. Still, 2 years. 1775. That's how young race is. 1775. This guy, Blumenbeck, he made a book called On the Natural Varieties of Mankind. And it's actually the title is actually written in Latin, but that's essentially what it means, On the Natural Varieties of Mankind. And what this dumbass did was he used skulls, not the brain, not the genes, not the DNA. He used the fucking skulls as his basis to study the difference amongst races. So the different skull shapes and sizes allowed him to divide race into 5 major races: the Caucasian, the Mongolian, the Ethiopian, the American Indian, and the Malayan. I don't know if people are aware, like, I agree with Darwinism to where, like, if you're in a certain area of land for a long extensive period of time, eventually your body will mold to your survival in that land space. So to put people in race categories based upon the land that they're in, it takes away from the genealogy that would align them back even further than that to one person or 2 people or whatever. And that's why you have all these like Da Vinci Code books and this, that, and the third about, oh, this person's related to Jesus, that person's related to Jesus, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you did the lineage, you would realize that we're all related to Jesus because we're all related to Abraham and we all go back to Noah. Noah is the Adam of this time.
Whose skulls did he use, though? Did he use the skulls of the fathers, the males, men? Or did he use the skulls of the women?
I have no idea.
Well, no, it could be women because, women don't be great and shared. So it had to be the men, right? I bet you
I'm certain it was probably a slave. It was definitely a slave. Because nobody else was volunteering their skulls for whatever they were trying to do.
But I'm saying, like male and female skulls, and he do a contrast and comparison of like the men and the women.
I'll be transparent with you. I did not bother to attempt to read the book. I
get you on that.
A strong sense of disinterest and disdain.
But I have seen on Discovery Channel before. And I've seen on so many First 48 or Unsolved Mysteries to where they will look at the skull, probably based on buddies research. They can tell you are African descent or black or indigenous. Or if you are Asian, Caucasian. They say Asian and Caucasians have the closest relatable skulls to one another. Everybody black, we got the same type of skulls, you black instantly off our head.
That's so interesting and kind of small-minded because if you figure the original man was black, think about black as we know it. And think about all the different facets of blackness. There is not one black. You know what I mean? Like, I won't be so ignorant to say that there's just one white. There is no such thing as just one white. Caucasians or whatever you want to call them, the Yafetians, they are, they come in many facets as well. They also were tribal, village type people. That's why some of them don't fuck with each other now. Just same thing with us. Some of us don't fuck with each other. Some of us, our personalities, our, the way we carry ourselves, the way we look. We can see or feel or hear the difference amongst each other, and that creates, a tribal type of division. Initially, that's what we were. We were tribal. We weren't these national beings. We didn't care about race either. It was what tribe are you from? Who are you a descendant of? Who are your forefathers?
What you believe in?
Yeah, and it's by design. They made us forget or disconnect ourselves from our forefathers to the point where motherfuckers won't even read the Bible anymore. Like, why wouldn't you read the Bible? It's literally telling you where you come from. Like, our ancestors used to walk around with a Bible on them So if somebody stopped them, they could show, hey, nah, I'm a descendant of this entity right here, this person right here, whatever. Like,
Oh,
Bible
because
gives
in
us
the
pictures
Bible,
of
they used to have like the family tree.
yeah,
So in
the
some of
family
my
tree was
Bibles,
in the
family
Bible.
tree or whatever, and you would have that family Bible passed down, to the generations or whatever. So back in those days, yeah, talking around your Bible was a good thing because it had your family tree laid out. Mama and them made sure that you
Mhm.
knew who your people were.
Mhm.
Now, Bible, girl, that page, I don't even think that page is in there anymore.
Yeah, that's by design. It's by
Mhm.
design that it's not in there. They even changed the maps that are in the Bible. The maps are changed around to land as we know it today. Why would the maps look like as land as we know it today? Back then, thousands of years ago.
It
That
wouldn't.
makes no sense.
Every time we have an earthquake, the land, the plate tectonic shifts and stuff, the earth moves. The land
Right.
moves.
And we be having like 30 earthquakes a year. We be having like 2-3 monsoons, a good 10 hurricanes, like mass shit happens every
California
year.
might be broken off in probably the next 5 years and have another damn massive
Who's
earthquake.
to say it isn't already? But we just don't know.
I
Who's
thought about
questioning
that
who
today,
did it?
but I was like, can you still drop California as of today? If you can, yeah, I think it's good. But when it starts splitting and looking like the Grand Canyon next time you drive over there,
It's a lot of energy going towards motherfuckers not admitting that they know nothing. So if there's so much energy going towards people trying to hide the fact that they know nothing, imagine how much energy is going towards hiding the fact that they know something. Like, I know that the map doesn't look the way it looks now because of all the natural. Like, one year we had so many volcanoes. Volcanoes create land masses. And then we had a whole bunch of, like, every year they're talking about global warming, this disaster, that disaster, but they're not showing you an updated map of what the disasters are creating. They're just doing a whole bunch of fear mongering to make you feel like, resources are depleting, but they're not showing you the area
global warming ain't supposed to be happening. You think that ice is going to stay there forever? That's why you had the ice age, and the ice started melting.
Yeah, the ice been melting ever since. We've always been warming. That's
Gotta
nothing new. And climate change is literally that. The climate changing. What the fuck are you scared of? Do you really think that's in your power? Like, it's not.
You have the farmers almanac tell you what the climate was like back in such and such time or what have you. They've been recording this shit, and you've been seeing like, okay, the climate was similar to this in this year, but then following 2 years, it started to change a bit.
And it's really not that much different.
Yeah.
It's really not. It's not much difference going on at all. But this is how we got into race. It was literally to justify, like, even when we had the slave trade in the Middle East, there still was no concept of race. So you could be a slave just like, a descendant of Yafet was a slave, and you be beside a descendant of Shem. All three of y'all descendants would be in a chain gang together. Nobody cared. It was not about race at all. Now, because the descendants of Yafet are now in play and they have taken over to perpetuate a certain level of propaganda. See, they weren't able to make much profit off of having indentured servants. And then with the legalities of indentured servitude, they weren't bringing in more. So they started creating laws that would justify enslavement. That's when the transformation of the Bible started coming in, because if you want to control the people, you got to control their minds and their hearts and their guts. So they control the food and liquor. They're controlling, their mind and their heart set by switching up their religion, moving them away from nature and putting them back into the religion of the Bible. See, when we hear the words Christianity and Judaism and all that, we're still thinking of the mind of today. Oh, how you guys celebrate or commemorate or acknowledge today. And no, it was nothing like that back then. All the little shits you do today to say that you're Muslim or, you're Jewish or you're Christian, none of that was going on back then. None of it. I bet you any amount of money, aside from the fact of them saying praises be, none of those things were going on. It was
nobody sacrificing no lambs today.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all not out there slaughtering lambs. Y'all not out there going to war in the name of your Lord or your God. Y'all not having seances and going into mediumistic trance in the mountain, staring at a burning bush for days at a time. Y'all not doing none of that. So the culture back then of Christianity and Judaism and all that is way different than the culture of today. Way different. You got to keep that in mind too. On top of the fact that there was no race. Now, in order to convince the people that having slaves was okay, of course, the story of Utnapishtim in the Bible had to switch up. They had to change who was the cursed son, right?
Mm-hmm.
They also had to change the way the lands were divided and laid out amongst the three sons. They also had to switch up some of the lineages of those three sons. So now we don't think we were ever on North America. Now we don't think we were ever in Africa. So where were we then? Just nowhere?
No, because
Make it
North
make sense.
America was only discovered back in by Christopher Columbus. And when he got there,
That's what they want you to think. Why wasn't it
he was
discovered
greeted by
until
people.
Christopher Columbus? All
How you discover
propaganda.
somewhere
All
that's
that
already
was
discovered?
discovered in
People living at.
all this was done in 1775. Mind you, the Moors were already ruling Morocco. They already had the Mauritania, whatever the fuck that land was called. They, and mind you, these are all descendants of Shem. So let's
There's
look
a
at the
Moorish
map
land
where
with
Shem
no
is.
boys with them Columbus.
Yeah, we already did all of that.
He drew out the map for him.
Yeah.
He intentionally took him there. It wasn't by mistake that he seen the people like he was heading to India.
They already knew where that land was because that's where they were. That's where their trade routes were at. We were already trading with these people. We were already in alignment. There was already communication going. It was already things going.
Sis, according to my social studies class, what we saying was not it.
No. Also, in the land of Shem, they already had slaves. They were a part of the slave trade with the Middle Eastern. So everybody had Hamite slaves. Everybody had Hamite slaves. And again, it's not about race. We're not talking about black people were slaves. Get your mind out of the race. We're not talking about race because race is not here yet. They had white slaves. If you need to hear the word, they had white slaves, they had Hindu slaves, they had Asian slaves. But to them, that was the tribe of Cush, or that was the tribe of Nimrod, or that was the tribe of this or that. You know what I'm saying? So, that was already going on in the land of Shem before the Spaniards came and they decided to invade the land. The land probably wasn't as close as it is now. Like in this map, looking at this map, it probably, they probably had like some separation at that point, but it was not at the map as we know it today. It was not.
Who's to say what this map even really looks like? The shape of the continents are even their shape.
Right, exactly. We've gotten so hung up on these shapes. It's memorization at this point.
Who's to say what borders and what borders? Like borders is just imaginary lines. Unless it's separated by water.
Agreed.
So I definitely want to research when these first maps started coming out and who designed them. Who's the man? I know it was a man. Women don't get no credit for anything.
No, we don't. It's all right. Our time is coming because Aries is an Aries. So, the rise of the divine feminine energy is here. And it's never been here before. It hasn't been here at all in biblical times. It wasn't here. We got to go back further than the mermaids. That's the last time the divine feminine energy was here to the level that we're trying to bring it back. So for those of you guys that are still romanticizing Egypt and Africa and all that as you know it, and saying that they respected women and all, no, they didn't. The shadow work has to happen. If we don't do shadow work about our culture and do the proper confessions and healing, the healing is not going to occur.
People don't know how to do that. A lot of
because people are still glamorizing those periods of time of Egypt and Kush and all them when we were still low vibrational. Still trying to go back to the time of the Moabites and the Ammonites. That was a low vibrational time. You have to go back even further than that. You have to go further back than Lot and all them. Those were all.
You gotta go all the way back to Eve and Adam, right?
Yeah, you gotta go back even further than that. You gotta think big. Think big. We think
You gotta go back to
we gotta go back all the way back, and just keep in mind that those were not times of our highest selves at all. In fact, those were the times where like we literally were picking up ourselves after falling. This is the rebuilding. So,
we've been spiraling in a whirlwind from the beginning. We're spiraling down.
I have hope. I think we're spiraling upward. I think we just move slow as shit. Very slow movements happening here.
This movement is definitely some movement. Is it going up? Maybe it's going up and down at the same time.
Yeah, maybe. I know that we like to use the word nigga. Well, who was it? Kendrick Lamar was trying to use the word nigga, saying, "Oh, it means negus." It's not negus. It's negus. Negus is pronounced negus. And that was the word of king or to reign in Ethiopia. Again, we're talking about Ham, and the Cushites. That was the word. However, again, coming back, 1775 is when the word nigger was generated in terms of labeling someone who was black. All right.
Like
yes. That's Latin for black.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we started wearing the names of blackness and being black. So all that being proud of those names that were given to us as like, insults, not cool. Let's not do that.
Well, that just shows you how long we've been taking derogatory names and just blaming them.
1775 was not that long ago for people to be so like goofy about history. Like they literally came up with all of this shit and burnt all of our shit in the same couple of years. You figure America was discovered in 1776, or at least like established on paper.
Well, we still stuck on that because that's what we've been taught. Those are the only ones we've been taught. Public school. All of us have been a victim of public school at some point in time or another. Most of us. I ain't gonna say all of us now, especially with generation. Z? What? X? But
yeah, we've been in their public school system for a good like 300 years.
Mm-hmm. My child asked the other day, like, why do you keep learning about old girls?
That's what
he was like, it's history. Like, yeah, but we got history too.
Yeah.
Why are we only learning about our history like the shortest month out the year? And only that time.
Because that's their way of breaking us off this land. Like, if you look at this map, Black history is American history. Like, our existence on this plane, this country was discovered in 1775. Do y'all understand how long ago that was? That was like 300 years ago. Not even 300 years ago. So to say we were slaves for 400 years is a fucking lie. That whole 400 years of slave shit, that doesn't make any sense in math. They literally made all this shit up in 1775.
Yeah, they really don't tell you that people travel. People were already here. People already had boats, canoes.
They don't talk about the Moors of 7-Eleven. They don't talk about how they were in power until 1492. And they don't talk about how it actually took them some time, a few hundred years, with the going back and forth before Spain was even established as a white place, because they didn't establish race until 1775. Like, Jesus Christ.
1775 of American history.
Of American history, yes.
Because we've studied 1775 of Asian history, 1775 you know, the land of Africa as we know it today. Their history. You ain't gonna hear about history.
No, you're not.
It takes you to speak to other people from different cultures and different lands and who have learned differently. They ain't never heard these damn stories.
It's a lot of energy going towards separating us from our land.
And then we'll be like, what? I don't believe you. That ain't happening. Y'all sold us into slavery. We all came from over here. Y'all sold us into slavery. Ain't nobody over here. Lewis and Clark and Christopher Columbus and them discovered this land and those forefathers.
That's exactly what they doing. They making their people the forefathers of this land, and it's not. Shem and his descendants, the lineage of King David, King Solomon. When you profess yourself to the lineage of the 12 tribes of Judah, you are aligning yourself with the descendants of Shem, which is the inhabitants of this land. That is our lineage. We are way older than Christopher Columbus and his Yafet head ass. And the concept of race was not created. So when you think about the Moors ruling Spain, your mind wants to say, oh, it was all these dark. Okay,
Lord,
it was descendants of Kush.
Because the Moors mean black. Simply means just black person. Or means Arab or Persian or something. I'm like, come on.
The Moabites were a combination of it was, the tribe of Shem. But also, by the time that they got to like Morocco, it was a combination of Shem and Hamites, Shemites and Hamites together. So yeah, they probably were predominantly dark-skinned, brown-skinned people.
Yeah. I'm saying if they just want to put the title black, just what it means, just black. Not naming you or not coming from actual nation of certain people, like how we are over here, African American. Never lived in Africa, was born in Africa, but our ancestors were African enslaved over here. That's how we came. African American. Anybody else who's over here in America, be born in America, they're American.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
anybody in Europe, they can be born in Germany. You black as hell. You born in Europe. Born in Germany. And you're a German. I witnessed that. I met a German girl. Dark tone like me. I'm like, where you from? She speaks German too. I'm from here. Deutschland. Oh yeah?
That's the same mindset that we once upon a had. It's about the tribe. What tribe are you from? What's your, Mongolian could have all shades. It wasn't about white people, black people.
This is the only place where it's got African and American.
Mm-hmm. It's to remove us from our land. It's all a mind game to remove us from our land, to upheaval us, to make us feel disconnected from the land. We don't feel like we're from here. We don't feel like we're from Africa, because we're not from Africa. This is our land. That's why we feel such a connection here. That's why we don't want to leave and we don't want to move back to Africa. There are some people who do, and that's cool. But if you feel a strong need to stay here, it's because we're not. And they did mix us up. There was, a slave trade that was going from the coast of Europe to the coast of Africa to the coast of America. Yeah, that happened. We was being mixed up. Again, more muddying of the bloodlines. That's cool. At the same token, your predominant genes, they know better. Those capital letters on your Akashic record, they know better. All right, and you feel it, and you see it, and you sense it. So, I'm not speaking to everybody, but the people who know, if you know, you know. Ooh, this is our land.
We got a battle with the Native Americans about it too, because they don't want to tell you what you are not. How are you Indian?
A lot of them, well, that's a lot of the confusion too. Okay, so that was a science as well. So, like I told you, once upon a time we had slavery. Before the transatlantic slave trade, we had slavery. But again, colorism was not a thing. It was, what tribe are you from? So when they was trying to bring colorism into play in the 1770s, what they would do is they would separate the slaves. They started that separation. Oh, you're lighter skinned slaves, you're this over. They literally started creating tribes. And to this point now, yeah, 300 years later, now we're so well versed in, oh, those are the Native Americans, these are white people, we are black people, those are Latinos. Like, we now see it that way, to the point we've created culture, we've created currency, we've created a history, we've created bonds, we've created so much stuff in alignment to the boundaries that they've created. But these are boundaries that they created. Once upon a time, you wouldn't look at a Native American of today and be like, oh, that's not me. That is you. They look just like us. We literally have the same fucking noses. We have the same eyes. We have the same mouth. We do the same fucking dances. We both love the drums. We both trap. We both communicate the same way. All these different things. The most you can say is their hair is straight. Okay,
that's what they love.
You don't think we got straight hair
black
people
people
in our
that love to say that shit, sis. They figure that, oh my God, you are not an Indian unless you got long, flowing, straight, or wavy, silky, Hawaiian hair.
Yeah, that's the construct made by the Europeans in 1775 when they wanted to create the concept of race. In fact, they didn't create the concept of race until 5 years later in 1780. That's when they came up with the Caucasian, the Mongoloid, the Ethiopian, the Armenian, the Indian, and the Malayan. Those are the races that they came up with after they were studying the skulls. So that shit didn't come up till 1780. That's even younger than the studying of race, period. So race is a very, very new concept. It is so new that it shouldn't be regarded at all, honestly.
Also think when you got the Trail of Tears back in
they made sure that when they drew the pictures and they colored the pictures, they made sure everybody looked like they wasn't us.
But during the Great Migration in the 1950s, guess where those indigenous people still went? Out west. They did the same thing they did before.
Still going to the promised land. Still going to the crescent of it all. Especially if you flip the maps.
Yeah, maybe west. East.
Yep.
And that's how we went from Moabites to niggas.
Yeah, that's how we went from Moabites to niggas, y'all. They really they really trying to separate us. Listen, niggas is not negus. I know Kendrick Lamar got life fucked up. If you're a Hamite, congratulations. You know, you Ethiopian gang. Go ahead and call yourself a negus. But that shit do not rhyme with the stuff they making it rhyme in rap music. That is, they're trying to play around with a word, but a spell is a spell, bro. We not niggas. When my grandma used to say the word nigga, first of all, my grandmother is a Native American through and through, indigo skinned Native American. She used to call us niggers, and she would only call us niggers if we was acting up. She'd be like, "Oh, y'all in the street acting like a bunch of niggers." And she explained, because one time my cousin used to get mad, like, "Why you calling us that? Like, you don't understand what you calling us?" And she like, "Yeah, I understand what I'm calling you, because that's what you acting like. Now, if you act better, you be something different." But the term nigger was not a term to give someone based upon their skin color. Again, race is a very new concept. That was a name that you would give someone that was unruly and dusty.
Yeah. And now it
just means black. Yeah, now it's if you black, you dusty, and y'all just over here like, yeah, we dusty, niggas.
Straighten your hair.
Yeah, man. So we've been in America doing the most. I in my mind, I think that when Lot was in the mountains with his two daughters, I think Lot was in the mountains of Utah, or maybe even in the mountains of Pennsylvania, over there creating the Moabites. I don't know.
You know what?
We'll get into that next
That
episode.
way, like Oregon or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I talked to another black person who's actually been to Oregon though. Ain't no black folks there for real. No white
Yeah,
people.
did you know that it
there's
was
all the
illegal
Indians.
for black people to be in Oregon till 1980? That's when they lifted up the black people ban. They were actually banned from it. 1980, bro. That was what, like 40 something years ago? We were not allowed to be in Oregon.
Yeah, 42 years ago.
It's probably some shit over there. It's probably our skulls, our bodies that they've been digging up, and all the stuff that they hide on this land, because they blew up a lot of our giant trees, which will show that the Nephilim were over here. If they blew up all the trees and then put cement over it to make it look like mountains, make it look like hills and roads and shit.
There is a tree over there. Way.
Mm-hmm.
Where they have carved like a tunnel, and you can drive through it. They pave the road under that tree, between that tree.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Only some white folks. Let's blow a hole in the mountain.
Because it's a disconnect with nature. If you feel like nature is working against you to kill you or whatever, like, you don't give a fuck about it. Like, they really don't feel like the same way when the Tower of Babel was created in Babylon. It wasn't no regard for shit. There was a distrust for the large entity in play. Like, bro, we don't trust that y'all not gonna try to destroy us again. So we gonna build a tower by any means necessary to get up there and beat some ass. Like, what's up? I mean, didn't win that one, obviously, but it was the attempt.
Oh yeah. Also, on my notes about that. It was the dark races that was in charge of that from Ham.
Yeah.
And,
was it the Hamites?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tower of Babel was and God confused his speech. And you know what? Not only the speech was confused.
And that makes sense, because
understanding was mixed up.
It's not much speech difference between the Yafet tribes. When you think about the Yafet tribes being like from Turkey to Spain to Italy, there's not much language difference in their languages. Spanish, I think the hardest language they got is English. But when you think about the the languages of the Hamites, all those languages were different. Unfortunately for the Shemites, all of our language has been kind of taken away from us. So we don't know what tongue we had. You got the Native Americans that they allowed to hold on to whatever religion they fed. Like, I don't really hang around Native Americans enough.
I don't see them.
They be out west. They're in Cali. They where I got the land at is
the largest nations of fucking Indian tribes.
It's supposed to be Lenape Indians out here, Native Americans out here. I know the Gullah Geechee tribe is down there in the South Carolina coast. I do have family that are Nuwaubians and Gullah Geechee.
That's basically where you'll find them in Charleston.
Yeah, or you gotta go out west. Like, where I bought my land at is literally right next to the Navajo John, and that's where I met the majority of they look Mexican. They look like Mexicanos.
That's what I was saying. All the niggas look like they're Mexican. Where are the indigo skin, as you would say? Where are the black folk?
They're not around. It was a lot of intentional interbreeding. Also, keep in mind, in slavery, they had the breeding farms that were intentionally created to water down our bloodline. They were intentionally creating, individuals to look how they look now. It's by design. These people have got straight hair and lighter skin and stuff like that, and now they are the ones that get to stake claim to Native American, and the rest of us don't.
Because you can change anything you want about yourself. Your sex, legally, your name, legally. But you cannot change your race. You can change what you identify yourself, whether you identify yourself as a human being or not. But you cannot change your race.
Whenever I check off white. I check off white and I check off American Indian.
And I'll do other or American.
If they don't have American Indian option, I'm checking off white.
I'm saying
always. And I will admit, I mean, I don't know if 1 and 1 equals 2, but I will say the last time I filled out application for food stamps, I checked off white. I got way more food stamps than I've ever gotten having my 2 sons. And my sons are older now. Like, it's been a few years since I had them. So, I got them like a year ago. Mind you, it's a good like 6-7 year gap in between the last time I had food stamps. So maybe they just went up. I don't know. But coming back now to using them again, I was just like, let me check off white. And I got more.
Boom. $1,000 gap. I'm just saying.
I don't know if that's a thing or not, but hey, I say like, the next couple episodes we're definitely.
I don't ever see them down like the office and stuff like that. It's like a hidden society and life of people don't get their food stamps. You know what I'm saying? They get it in secret. They must have a specific office where they just automatically just put them over the phone.
I mean, you gotta think about, zoning is a thing. Zip codes are a thing. So we don't even go to the same offices. We're not going to the same county office. So I wouldn't see y'all in y'all county because I can't go to y'all county. I gotta stay in my county for my services. I gotta stay within my municipality for my services. So yeah, I would never see you. I'm not allowed to see you. I'm only supposed to believe in my head that the only people that are utilizing these things are people that are, taking advantage of the system or milking the system, or they're dusty. They got 6-7 kids, ghetto baby moms. Like, we're always made to like shame ourselves and look down upon ourselves or have these really dusty images of ourselves when we think about things instead of like really seeing shit for what it is.
I know
these motherfuckers owe us money, so go and get your fucking food stamps.
If you speak Spanish, you ain't got shit. You got a Spanish speaker up there, they won't help them out.
Oh yeah. I mean, we love having one person that knows one, colonized language, but someone who knows 2 colonized languages, hell yeah. We pay extra for that. We forget that Spanish is not a Aboriginal language. Spanish is another colonized language that was given to us. We wasn't speaking Spanish neither. In fact, it's a lot of proof that was saying that we were speaking a lot of different derivatives of Arabic.
Yeah,
really. Yes. Especially when you get into the names of a lot of the historic native chiefs. They were of darker color. There was this one book I'll show you guys. This A People's History of the United States. I've been reading this one with my sons for their history class. Also, another thing that we do is we get into we get into the maps, the way the maps looked in America before the colonized borders were created. And we talk about all the different zones. I should have put that in the I'll put that in next week's episode because next week's episode will be more about maps. But I'll show you guys the maps that I utilize when I'm talking to my sons about American history. We do not start off with slavery. So, slavery is something that happened in the middle of our history. Not even in the middle. Slavery is more recent than it is history.
We're getting into the map. I said nap. Oh, you know, I want to take a nap. We're getting into the nap. Here we go again. Why can't I say nap?
It's time for a nap.
That makes sense. But I shouldn't. I shan't. We're getting into the maps. The next episode.
Yeah, next episode we're gonna get into the maps. And aligning the maps with historic events, and then the episode after that. If anybody that's watching that knows, like, I know the steps to gaining your sovereignty. However, I don't feel comfortable sitting on my platform saying them because, one, I haven't fully practiced them or exercised them, so I don't feel like it's my place. 2, I'm not, again, I don't exercise them, so I don't feel like it's my place. So anybody out there who knows the steps to gaining sovereignty and don't mind coming on the show and sharing the science behind it, please, we would love to have you. Again, I know the shit. I've been researching this for a couple years now. I've been interviewing a lot of Moors, people from USAR to the MSTA to the MST of A or whatever. Like I'm very versed with all of you different tribes and temples. I'm actually in a temple. I just would like to have somebody come on that actually like can articulate a lot better the steps. And that'll be the episode on January 7th. I'm excited for that episode too.
Very fast.
Yeah, right. I'm very excited for that episode as well.
This is already the last week. Tomorrow's Monday.
Our last episode of the Gregorian calendar year, we'll be talking about the maps. We'll be talking about the maps from then to now. Showing you guys some of the books that I read that helped out with the last few episodes. From Babylon to Timbuktu was another good book that definitely assisted with providing a timeline from Noah's descendants to, where we are now with Cushites in Ethiopia. Also, we got a lot of our visuals from this book, People of the Sun. This particular scroll is scroll number 147. This is actually, there's many scrolls. Obviously, there's at least 147 scrolls, but this is the only one that I have a physical copy of.
I've been trying to get the PDF on it, and it's been a task.
It's a lot. It's one website called archive.com that I go to. Like, I just go on Google and I type in free PDF file.
Because when I was trying to find there was a book, Othello, Children. I was trying to get it on the web, but they showed me like a few pages of it. And I was like, okay, this is very poor quality. This was not enough information.
If I find it, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm trying to set up something on my website. I would like to have a library page on my website where people can just go on and just click on PDFs. I have an extensive library on my Google Drive. Give me some time, because y'all know I be so wrapped up between doing the research for this show, because these last few episodes have been very involved. And then just relaxing, because y'all know my leg is broken. I can't just be chilling. Sometimes I just gotta chill. I'm trying to learn how to chill.
I think you're doing
these are also two books that I got into that helped me. These are made by Red Silver Fox Thunderbird. It's called Revealing America's Dark Skin Past. And that really gets into the story of the Native Americans. I got these at a book fair out here. Well, a vending event out here. But those are the two books. And then this is another one by Black Hawk Thunderbird. So they're from the same tribe. But that was another good one. And then, of course, the Bible. I actually got the Jubilee Bible, the African American John. Also got the Masonic Bible that I have on PDF. I also utilized the Circle 7. Like I told y'all, I'm versed in the temple, so I used a couple of those stories and went back to the Bible, for the verse stone. And what else did I use? Oh, the chronology of the Bible was also a good one. Reading from then to now. And then these, because I'm childish, I like simplified versions of Bible stories because I'm not reading all that. So I got The Bible is Black History, which is a really good book.
The Bible stories was one of my favorite ones to read.
This is a good one. And then I got the tiny book, the tiny Bible stories. I like this. Short and sweet, and also, teaching my son like Bible stories, it's pretty cool. Because despite what I believe or what I think, like, I get a lot, from the Bible, and it's just certain things that I would like my children to have, to experience, if that makes sense. So I got those from my right. That's how I feel.
A lot of information. You can learn information from the Bible, the Quran, the Torah. Now you might not be able to base it off just all off of solely historical, because then you'll get mixed up.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it's good to try to look within all three for an alignment, and also to get a better understanding on the linguistic terms that each one of those books use, and the theoretical point of view.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Aesop fables, like how at the end of every story was kind of like a lesson. Like that's how I feel about like Anansi stories. Like the way the Hamites had their Anansi stories, I feel like we had our Native American stories over here. You know, that eventually, turned into Bible stories. Because you remember how we did the mermaids and the story of Enki and Enlil, and then turn around and read how decades later Moses wrote the Bible books. He was a Levite, and they literally mirror the stories that we talked about with Enki and Enlil.
Right?
Identically, yeah. So, you have that too. Like sometimes I just feel like they're just, our native stories that we tell each other. But I really like that. I was really excited
folklore, whatever, you hear a certain story, and over here in America, and someone from overseas will tell you that similar story, just different characters, and but still got the same meaning behind it. It's just totally different.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And that's how it's always been. And I suppose, I guess that's how it was always been. Perhaps.
I think so too. I think that in our space now, as far as like, okay, we know the problem. What's the call to action? Because I'm a call to action kind of person, And when I think about the call to action to all this, I really think about like, okay, we know the history. We know the basis of the history. Now we can either take that and go back to the tribes of, Noah, which in my mind, that's what I would like to do. Like, hey, I'm a Shemite, and I would like to stake claim to my birthright as a Shemite. And, stake claim to my birthright as a Shemite, and then go from there as far as like being present of today. And y'all know, anybody that follows me, y'all know to the extent that I've been doing with Less Nobodies, to it being a business, to me learning how to privatize it, learning how to privatize myself and my children, purchasing land, putting everything in trust, on the land, intentions on, having agriculture, growing my own food and stuff like that. I would like to create some man-made lakes on the land, things like that. Yeah, bringing back water in that space, definitely. Trying to establish a temple, for the solstice last year, we registered a star, started our first holiday. I do my planetary forecast on Mondays. We're gonna, as I start to find time and start to become in a better space, I will have like a fellowship hour on Sundays. But right now, like the study is on Mondays, like bringing us into like a metaphysical type of temple, the temple of the mystery sciences or whatever. So like, I may not be totally transparent with my moves when I'm moving them, but like essentially like that has been my call to action. That's what I believe that I should be doing, being present. I don't try to impose that type of energy on anybody. You do what you feel like you should be doing, how you should be doing it. But if I were to give advice, that's the advice I would give. It's time to build our own tribes and villages. Have knowledge of the old and be present with it.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to be from like the government rule. But some form of organization. Yeah, I think we should live in peace and harmony if it's possible. Know your differences. Know who you are. Get whatever is owed to you. Don't bother people. Don't think you're better than another tribe. Don't start no war. Don't fuck with us. Nobody's thinking. Don't fuck with nobody's thinking. Leave the kids alone. Teach them their history. Grow your food. Be healthy, happy, and whole.
Agreed. That's the best you could do.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. It's power in knowing the past, and I think that we've been misusing the power. The power of knowing the past isn't to create turmoil of the present. Like, oh, we know about the past, now we about to fuck shit up and we about to hate. Like, no. It's to look back and see how fucking silly and goofy that shit was. Like, guys, we never had concept of race until 1775. The concept of race and color lines and color skin and all that was created to create America as we know it. That's all it was there for. No, it was not there during biblical times. It wasn't there before biblical times. It wasn't there before that. Yes, everything originated from what we call today the black man. But remember, back then, it wasn't what we call today the black man. It was just man. And man could still give life when man, woman, you guys know what I mean, but could still give life to any skin color. It wasn't about skin color. Now, when they started having albinos and albinos was out here frying in the sun, you know, that's a whole different fucking story.
No, not frying in the sun. Why I thought about a damn worm.
Cause essentially that's what they have to do. They have to go back into the soil. They can't survive on top of the soil. They have to go inside the soil. We call them caves.
Poor wormies.
Poor wormies. Canaanites.
Everybody wants to go to the land of Canaan. Everybody back then they wanted to go to the land of Canaan.
Yeah, whenever shit went money. I don't know, maybe that was just a hot spot, you know?
Not that bad.
We gotta get into the mats. We definitely gonna get into the next episode. I'm very excited about that. I was excited about this episode and really just like putting the puzzle pieces together with these 3 tribes and the map behind it, and you know, really seeing like, oh, this is deeper than skin color. They're confusing us with skin color.
It is because that's what keeps us divided, especially us as a people.
That's how they divided our kingdom. They divided our kingdom by skin color. So instead of coming together and realizing, hey, yo, we all Israelites. You got to remember, Israelites is 12 tribes. That means there was a whole bunch of skin color shit going on. Those are 12 different tribes.
And I think they also want to make claims to, you know, who is closer tied to Jesus. That's a lot of that. About too.
How they turn our 12 tribes into 13 colonies?
Oh, I thought that was a question from somebody. I'm like, oh, that's a good question. Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that.
That's a thought.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of, you know, and then also like thinking about these motherfuckers knew magic. Remember, we had magic back then too. So like niggas knew about magic. They had the books. They had the mystery books. Yeah, they were doing weird shit.
It's extra. It's an extra. There's an extra person. It's an extra civilization in there.
We was also in the magic, so we was sacrificing shit. I'm sure they learned watching us how to sacrifice motherfuckers and what kind of people to sacrifice and how to sacrifice them and stuff. So like all that stuff come into play too. Very weird energy out here. We just gotta break from the spells and understand that we are one, and these Yefeshians can't win. They gotta go back to Europe. Is that what you call them, Yefeshians?
Would you date a Yefeshian?
Nah, I thought about it like when I was in school and I was around so many of them, but they didn't like black girls, so you know, dodge those bullets.
Let that be the only reason.
Thank you to all the white guys that weren't attracted to me in high school. Y'all saved my life.
I don't think they weren't attracted to you. I think maybe it was ideology of like they're supposed to be with a white woman and they're supposed to bring a successful white woman instead of a black woman. It's like how our black men like to bring their successfulness to the white woman.
Yeah, they like the Hittites.
Yes,
they too are descendants of Yafet. You know, because we know Yafet was a black man. And he was the first black man to be with a Hittite.
The Moors did it too. The Moors did it too.
They did. But in their defense, they were, descendants of incest. So, that happened.
I mean, you came along this far, y'all were doing pretty good. It don't matter no more.
But even then, during those times when the Moors were ruling, they had there was no concept of race. There still was no concept of race in 7/11 of 1492. And you figure from the 1500s to the 1600s, it was a lot of back and forth with the wars and the battles as, the Spaniards tried to take back over.
You're right.
By 1775, now we got motherfuckers justifying separations of race with science that they made up. By 2022, now we can't think beyond race.
Oh, they rolled right along with it. I found out since I couldn't see us the whole time. I was zoomed in.
Jesus.
That's crazy though. I was like, why am I only seeing myself? It was never adjusted like that, though. I haven't touched the computer since like a few days ago. Especially on StreamYard.
But that's all I got for you. You got anything else you want to share?
Nah, I ain't gonna hold you, sis. We went over our time.
Yeah, this was pretty good, like cut jar episode. I appreciate it. I thank y'all for staying with us.
I like it. We could have went all over if we wanted to, though.
Yeah, we could have. Definitely could have. I'm gonna save the rest for the maps. That way we could really get into the timeline of history and talk about the maps attached to it. And y'all bring y'all maps with y'all and let's talk about it.
Yeah, because I was definitely going to get into Isaac, Esau, Jacob, and them, and all their children, on down to the Ramesses.
Okay, so that's the lineage of the Egyptians.
The Pharaoh of the Exodus, the children from the Israel from Egypt.
Yeah, we could definitely get on all of that because even when you get into the descendants over there, you can get into Nathan, which they say is the maternal lineage of Jesus. That's a whole nother vibe that's underneath Abraham as well.
Nahon. Where is it? My hands. It's somewhere.
Abraham had a really dope lineage. I'm here for it.
Oh yeah. All Eastside wives are, Hittite. The name is interesting. Aholibama.
Whose name is that?
Aholibama. Esau wife. Judith is very plain.
Interesting.
But Shema, Ada, and Aholibama. Aholibama.
I'm here for it.
Sound like a holy Bible.
That's what I heard. Or Holy Obama. This one too.
She had a holy one. Yeah, he had 3 kids. Oh, he had a child named Cora. I like that name. Cora. And Zeus.
Sounds like you speaking the Avatar language. I just got done watching Avatar last night too. That was pretty good.
The second Avatar that took so long to come out.
It was definitely invoking. Like you can tell at this point. You can tell when writers are trying to invoke your emotions, and I can always tell when a Caucasian is trying to invoke that anger out of Aboriginals, as far as like separation and invasion and colonization goes, because it just seems so deliberate to the point where it gets kind of corny. Like you're deliberately trying to invoke. Like we see, like I see what y'all did the first Avatar, and y'all overdo it. Like see what white people do when they come into your land and they pillage and da-da-da. We know what the fuck y'all do. So why are you trying to make it seem so exaggerated? Like, you know what I mean? Like you're literally trying to piss us. You're trying to piss us off.
I gotta go back and look at the first Avatar again.
Oh yeah, it was a whole lot of pillage going on.
It was a lot of it was emotional in that one as well.
Yeah. The second one is just as emotional. It's just once you have a sense of mind and you understand how they be trying to invoke us into emotions all the time. Like, you know, there's a lot of magic that comes out of watching television. First of all, you got to understand that like all the technology that we utilize are literally organites. They're clear quartz crystals with copper and aluminum and steel in the middle that are in spirals that are sitting on top of more carbon on top of carbon plates. It's literally an organite. So whenever we're watching something and it makes us feel something, we're giving that emotion through the organite, towards the organite. I'm crying at this movie. I'm angry at this. So, you know, it's no telling.
And when they play the music, sound the cues for the music.
The music and the color frequencies at the same time. Don't let it be blue or dark or beige or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
It's very invoking. And who is to say like, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm staring at this organite. The organite is feeding me images and it's making me sad. So I'm sad while I'm watching it. I'm giving that emotion back to the organite. It's transmuting that energy and putting it up into what, like the satellites or the Wi-Fi airways or whatever, back to the sender. And that sender is just sitting there drinking all that up.
On a global scale too.
Yeah, especially, you know, when the box office and they're like, oh my God, 5 billion people on day one.
Yeah.
They just soaked up all that energy that everybody just gave those organizers.
Somebody just off them numbers like,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
They be doing that shit.
They be doing that shit.
Yeah. They get aroused like that.
Yeah, it's like fucking Monsters Inc. when they were scaring the kids and they were using it to fill up their batteries. That's what they do with our emotions. They fill up their batteries. There's something they got going on that gets powered by our emotions or lack thereof.
Yeah, it's like I need the tears of 20 million people.
You're right. I need the outcry, so I'm gonna invoke it. Especially with a lot of shit they do on the internet. Like, as many times as you see people get shot or beat up by the cops on the internet, why is it only like random instances that have people marching out down the street? Like, in one place alone, it was like a good 10, 15 people killed in a week. But we only get mad about this one person in this one random spot in the world, and now everybody's invoked to march the streets and post a bunch of stuff. Do people not in it? Like there was a special frequency that went on when you watched that one thing. And you let it invoke you compared to the other 20 times you watched the same shit.
Year in 2015 was like catered specifically to that. With you know people recording a black man and a woman getting shot down. It was just so much going on that year with that shit on social media. And there was a lot of people being fed with those emotions. And people indulging in it. It's like it became like a addiction when people wanted to just keep listening and reposting this shit and keep recording this shit. Like, what y'all doing when you're witnessing people getting shot or witnessing somebody's neck being killed on or some shit? Like, get the fuck off your phone. Stop looking at it like it's a fucking movie and intervene.
Being desensitized. It is becoming like a movie to them. It's like another thing you're watching.
Exactly.
It's really dusty. You gotta stop normalizing watching each other get gunned down in the street. It's gonna make it so that when we actually are outside and we see somebody get gunned down, or we do start seeing like this whole like martial law thing pop off in the street, we're gonna be so desensitized. We're not gonna do shit when it happens. We're just gonna be watching, pulling out our phones, or just something so disconnected and detached.
The frequencies of music, we listen to death music a lot, and shit. Hear about your fellow sister or brother being killed by either the opponent or fellow brother or sister. Women talking about it, men talking about it. Got the children rapping it.
This is true.
Niggas is doing it.
Conditioning is a big thing, and they definitely been studying the way our chakras move. They've been studying all of our chakras. So, study your chakras and learn them, and learn when they're being invoked and when they're being blocked and when they're being overstimulated, and learn how to bring yourself back to a balance. Because a lot of this stuff that you're watching off of these organites, they're literally creating those things to invoke your chakras to do certain things.
Yeah.
And I won't lie, when I watched Avatar, I was angry. They did a good fucking job. I was over here like, what the fuck? Fuck that little kid.
I definitely gotta give the Avatar when the first one came out, I really wasn't interested in watching it. I think I just looked at it. Like I said, as for entertainment, first. If I look at it again, it's informative. Third time, I'm gonna bring it down. Because I don't even think I watched the whole episode.
Oh yeah, watch it. You're gonna like it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's just colonizers colonizing, really. And they just so happen to be colonizing aliens. That's it.
The aliens are
we are the aliens.
Yeah.
So that's what I got. I'm really listen. We don't know how to say bye. We've been saying bye for like 30 minutes.
I know, right? We don't want to hang up on each other.
Right. Nobody wants to hang up.
It's 10:59. And on a good note.
Right. So I'm finna be out, y'all. We'll see y'all next Saturday for our next episode where we talk about the labeling of the lands. We're gonna pull up with our maps and talk about, align the moments in history with way the maps looked, or way our theories are as far as how we thought it looked. And that's what we do.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. This episode was brought to you by Body on the Singles and Let's Nobody Selection.
Gang. Thank you guys for tapping in.
Later.
Peace.
This for the gentrifiers. This for Yeshua. Cause this is our land. Yes, we was here first. They came here on a boat. They'll leave here in a hearse. They'll leave here through the dirt. They're going through the earth. We're channeling the ancestors to undo their curse. Cause once upon a time, we all could read and write. That legalese is lies. Strong men spell cursive ties. Strong men all caps disguise. They've gentrified our lives. We've redefined their sights. We've redefined their kind. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose it. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Yes, this shit is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose it. by rules. I'm Queen Nanny the Maroon. I am Queen of Dongo. I am Queen of Zinga. I am Yenaga. I'm Carlotta and Fermina. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is hoodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Cause this is juju music. This shit here is hoodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Cause I am a goddess. I am a priestess. I chant these mantras and they all repeat it. And we make a promise, this land we gon' seize it. Get vengeance for Mother Earth treason. Hey, the gentrifier. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. Repetition of empires. Invading land with gunfire. Slavery not posters for hire. Income not what you desire. Outcome working jobs for hours. Mindset waiting to retire. Never stop working for dollars. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is hoodoo music. Which ancestor you gon' choose? When you chant, they gon' lose. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Which ancestor we gon' choose? When we chant, they gonna lose. I mean, my spirit guides come in with that sin. My ancestors defend. I got that juice to transcend. I mean, my spirit guides come in with that sin. My ancestors defend. I got that juice to transcend. Cause I am a Santi, I am a Sata, I am a Hosi, I am a Homie, I am a Tamba. Yes, I am a Tamba. Cause I am a Santi, I am a Sata, I am a Hosi, I am a Homie, I am a Tamba. Yes, I am a Tamba. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is hoodoo music. When we chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor we gon' choose? Hey, choose. Cause when we chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor we gon' choose?